Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, September the 10th, 2020. It's another Technically Awful podcast. We got another great show lined up for you today. I hope you're ready for it, although it's probably going to be, unless we roll it out, it might not be another long one. I mean, there is some big news this week, just not a lot of big news, and I was expecting more, which we will get to. But unfortunately, we were not blessed with the double-double this week. We just got a single. But before we get to all that stuff, hit the like button! If you're watching on YouTube. And if you're not, go to YouTube! Although if you're listening to this on the RSS feeds the night before, it goes up 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Fridays. So you can wait until then. First hour, bell gang. They're showing up in force and we're loving it. But get out there and do your part to help fight the YouTube algorithm. That's all we've got in life now, is fighting the algorithm. It's our entire existence. And before we get into any other news, it's the most important question of the week. Mr. Black, how was your week?
Same old same. Nothing's changed.
Marvelous. And you don't have a bed yet. Or do you have your bed?
I have my bed, but I don't have the bedroom set that's going to be here on Saturday. But we have the bed.
Oh,
We've been sleeping on the new bed for since Sunday.
And how's that been? How's the new bed?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's a new experience.
It's when you first get a new bed, it is no joke one of the best things in the fucking world. Especially if you've been going on like a bed for a real long time and your bed, like the old bed, is just beat to shit.
Yep.
You could even get a half-ass bed. Like, you don't even have to spend a lot of money. You just get a new bed. And it's a great experience. And
yeah,
so
it's nice. It's real nice.
Ours just arrived today. But it's memory foam, so we're going away theoretically tomorrow. Em and I are getting out of the city for a couple of days, just going down to the family home. And so while we're gone, we're just gonna unfold that bad boy and let it breeze, let it air out a bit. Get the chemical smell the fuck out the bed, and then when we get back, it should be fresh to go. But we did get our new pillows since the last podcast, I think, and same company, and those have been great. Memory foam, 4 layers with different sizes of the layers, and then you can take out layers if you want to make the pillow flatter or bigger as you so wish. I flattened mine out a bit because my old pillow was putting my neck a little too far forward, and it was like making my neck and upper back problems worse than they needed to be. Flatten that bad boy out, and my neck tension has been severely reduced, and it's only been like 5 days. So I look forward to getting the bed, and hopefully, between that and spending half of my life savings on physiotherapy and massage therapy, being back on track in the not too distant future. But Jeff, it's been a big week. Lots of big news. I shouldn't say lots. Big news. Not a lot of it, but there's been some big news.
Yeah.
First up, and it only happened hours ago. Normally, we're Nostradamus. We're Miss Cleo. But today, we were a bit off. Against all odds, and after saving copious amounts of money conveniently when Dr. Disrespect is no longer on the platform, Ninja has been given a big-ass bag to come back despite literally shitting all over Twitch for months. Publicly. Social media, Mixer platform, didn't matter. Just dummying Twitch for eons. And Twitch said, you know what? We could still use you despite the fact that you basically shit-talked us for that long, so here's an enormous amount of money. And I would love to know how much money it was. But it must have been a tidy fucking sum, because I suspect YouTube also offered as well. So, hot damn. I have not seen any figures. It only just happened. I'm sure we'll have rumored numbers floating around soon. I wouldn't expect that it's a small amount of money. It's a lot of money.
No.
What do you think? What do you think his re-up was at Twitch. We both assumed that it wouldn't be probably as much as the Mixer bag, but it would still be a hefty bag. What the fuck? Last pass, please.
My guess is he probably got paid anywhere between $10 and $20 million for 2 years. That's my guess. I could be totally off. I could be totally wrong about that. Like, it could be something astronomical, but I just don't like. I feel as though Twitch's pressure to pay people an insane amount of money is not as high as it was when Mixer was here throwing around stuff. So I'm taking some of that into account. I would say 10 million is on the low end, but my guess is probably 10 million a year, probably 20 million bucks. But on the other side, I'm not really sure if 20 million would be enough, because I actually think, because Dr. Disrespect is doing so well on YouTube, like he's getting millions of views per stream. You know, I don't know what his sub count is, but it's, whenever I tune in, it's just a constant, you know, it's nonstop, right?
He's making money.
Millions.
Yeah.
So the way I looked at it, and the reason why I thought Ninja would go to YouTube, other than the fact that he publicly, you know, gave it to Twitch on many occasions, is the fact I actually think Ninja does better on YouTube.
Yeah, we both thought that. Yeah,
I think his viewership is higher. Now, maybe not on those 2 little test streams that he did, because I do believe that's what he was doing when we said, like, he went on YouTube, tried it, went on Twitch, tried it, and he just used that as, he just used those numbers as a bargaining, as a way to go at the table. Once the Ninja thing kind of peers down a little bit, and his average concurrent is probably, you know, in anywhere between, you know, 15,000 and 30,000 viewers, probably ultimately what he's probably going to have really high numbers for the first little while, but that novelty will wear off. I actually think he does better on YouTube in terms of a number standpoint. And the fact that his content is already there, he's already got the infrastructure. So my guess is either Twitch really backed up the Brinks truck and gave him a large amount of money, like way more than 20 million, or Ninja just wants to be with all of his friends. He wants to be on Twitch where he doesn't want to have to deal with listening to people bitch and complain that he's on YouTube or whatever. He just wants to go where it's easier to go. And perhaps, like before, Twitch, and I'm sure Twitch probably got some bigger incentives for Ninja on the back end than what YouTube would. So maybe there's value there for him, you know, getting Ninja to do $1 million New Year's Eve parties, or, you know, whatever. It could also be a sponsor related thing. It could be Red Bull and his other sponsors might go, hey, Ninja, there's more value to be part of Twitch. You know, we are already part of Twitch. We're willing to re-up your contract or pay you more if you go alongside with our other partners with Twitch. That also might play a factor. Even though the numbers might actually be bigger on YouTube, it might not be the place where his current sponsors would rather be. But I say that at the same time, he went to Mixer. So I'm not really sure that is an argument. But then again, Mixer also paid him a large amount of money. So I don't know. My guess is, in my final thing, I'm just kind of talking through it because I haven't really.
Well, it just happened. So
it just happened, right? Yeah. So, but my guess is, if I had to guess, he's getting paid $10 million a year with some really nice back end stuff, and he just wants to be part of the in crowd. Or I'm totally off base, and the dude got like $30 million a year, like a $60 million deal, for a couple years, and that's it. Maybe it might even have been a, hey Ninja, we really fucked up the way we handled things when you decided to leave. Here's a few extra $1 million as our my bad, consolation. Come join us, and we'll make this deal real good for you. Could be that too.
Yeah, I think I think that most of what you said about you want to imagine that who he can play with when he's at Twitch versus who he can play with when he's at YouTube, which is basically Doc, Courage, and then there's a couple of other YouTubers who are legitimately large YouTubers that Doc has started to mess around with as well. But in terms of who he would know already and would want to be playing with, you would think that would factor in, but at the same time, the amount of money we're talking about right now is probably going to cover up most feelings of, you know, who do I get to play fucking Fortnite with for my job? Yeah. It's true that he could stop working today and his children, his grandchildren and great-grandchildren wouldn't have to fucking work a day of their lives, and that's fine, but people don't normally just do that, especially at his age. It just doesn't fucking happen. They get bored, complacent, they're not complacent, but they get bored and they want to do something, go stir crazy. I suspect it was a lot of money. Because I think that without a large upfront payment, YouTube in the same 2-year period makes more money than Twitch in the same 2-year period.
The only thing I can think of is if Twitch worked out a deal where he doesn't have to stream as much. So he can go and do his Hollywood shit, his acting and whatever. And they say, hey, we want to just lock you up. We're going to pay you a large amount of money. It's not going to be as big as the last Mixer deal, but you only have to stream 20 hours a week and not 40 hours a week or whatever type of deal they had before. So maybe that's it.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I'm going to assume both sides would have offered him that, because he's talking about wanting to do that shit. Yeah, that's...
it's a lot of money. Whatever it is,
it's a lot of money. I am still surprised that he's back. There is something to be said about the internet just forgetting and not giving a fuck about the fact that both Twitch and Ninja both said brutal things about each other, and Twitch, the way that Twitch handled his channel when he left was fucking terrible. Like, nothing, it was not a clean break. It was an ugly break. It was like that fucking movie with Adam Driver and was it Scarlett?
Scarlett
Johansson, whatever the fuck that was. It was basically like that scene. It wasn't clean. Everyone was screaming, everyone was crying. It was bad, it was ugly, and it was public. But people are going to forget about that shit, I guess, and or the average person is going to forget about it, and it's just not going to mean anything. All that people are going to know is whether or not he's on Twitch, and he's back on Twitch. So, but from ignoring all other factors, I think it's a safe bet to say that YouTube would have made more money on its own than Twitch. And so, just from that factor, not including any other factors, I have to assume that it's a relatively hefty buy-in for Twitch to get him onto the platform just based on that. But who knows? We probably will never know the real figures, but maybe we will. We found out eventually with Mixer.
Oh, we will.
And so, yeah, I would say it's closer to 30 mil than anything. I don't think it's north of that. I don't think if I gotta keep it 100, I don't think Ninja's brand is worth $30 million anymore. I think he was worth it when he went to Mixer. And now it's not, and not necessarily just because he went to Mixer, but because just nothing has happened with him of any note for so long now that he's got to kind of like rework his way back up to that spot. People are welcoming him back to Twitch as like fucking Twitch daddy. He ain't Twitch's daddy. He's gonna like you said, he's gonna show up. I think the same thing. He's gonna do big numbers for a couple of days, and then it's gonna fucking peter out and just calm down, and he's not going to be like knocking out massive numbers like he used to, I don't think. And if he does, it will probably be because it's on the back of a game other than Fortnite. I mean, look at Shroud. What's Shroud's averages right now?
I have no idea.
Because, when he first came back, again, did real well, but that was with a front page push and everything else. I mean, Shroud is obviously not limping around out there, not making any fucking money, but he's not pulling down like 70,000 viewers a fucking stream or some shit. And if he or Ninja went to YouTube, they're north of 100K every single day, all day. And so, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. I'd love to know what the amount is. Hopefully we do find out what the amount is. Either way, Ninja won. Nobody else won. Twitch didn't win. YouTube didn't necessarily lose because Ninja's content's still on YouTube. Ninja's the only real winner here. That's pretty much it, and good for him. Next up, you know who isn't a winner, Jeff? EA. EA decided, as we talked about, I think a few podcasts ago, that they were debating whether or not they were going to do a little test bed of running advertisements, legitimate like TV style advertisements, in between matches of UFC 4, the video game. I guess with the assumption that because they're trying to mimic a broadcast of a UFC event, that people wouldn't notice it as much or care as much to see the advertisement there, because it would be something similar to actually watching the event in real life. And so the ads wouldn't be so obvious to people in the sense that it's a familiar placement. As it turns out, they're wrong. Big shocker. It went over real bad. Everyone hated it. They got blasted real quick for it. And then they came out, pulled it off immediately and said, you know what, guys, you're right. We probably should have gone about this a different way. You know, we probably should have thought a little bit more about blah, 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 blah. It was stupid. No, how anyone at EA thought that this was going to go over well.
Were they just playing like straight up advertisements, or
yes.
how did? Yeah, like why don't they think of something a little bit more unique? Like, I don't know, the Octagon have the brands.
Oh, that's already a thing.
Yeah. Well, then why do you need more?
Because money, Jeff. It's free real estate.
Oh.
It's free real estate.
Okay.
I mean, if they do it in a UFC broadcast in real life, they got the brands on the ring, brands on the shorts, brands on the gloves. You know, the fucking referees got like shit covering them. Girls have got shit on their tits. Everything's just great and fine. Why not squeak in a little quick Budweiser advertisement, 4 or 5 second Budweiser advertisement in between rounds? Why not get that Under Armour in there, or that fucking that Nike branding, or whatever else they want to fucking squeeze in? It's free real estate. You know what this reminded me of? I think it was EA that tried this the last time too, and I can't remember what it was, but I think it was like it was either a Need for Speed game or it was another racing game, and they were putting like billboards and shit everywhere throughout the game of just straight up advertisements that they would rotate out to keep up with the advertisements in the real world. It wasn't like the game had a specific brand they were putting in there. They were legitimately just putting in fucking billboard advertisements. And people were like, why am I playing a video game and still that I paid $90 for, whatever the fuck I paid, and I'm still getting beat up with billboard advertisements like I'm driving down the highway on the fucking 102. Why in the shit am I getting hit with all this? And they were like, well, it's free real estate. It's just EA money. It's just that video game money. You know, they'd probably come out and say, like, well, you know, video games are expensive to make. And, you know, this is like a really, you know, low impact way for us to make back some advertising revenue. For us to be able to make bigger and better games. And then they put out a smaller and shittier game the year later, and you're wondering why that happened. So yeah, big shock. It failed. They pulled out real quick. Gave a half-assed apology, and we'll probably come back and try it again, if I'm going to be honest. It'll just have a slightly different form. They're
Crazy.
Just testing the waters many different times. Next up, speaking of testing the waters, Epic probably shouldn't have done that with Apple, because Apple, after the injunction that Epic put out to try and get the Unreal Engine stuff not banned from the storefront, because that affects indie developers or other developers that use the Unreal Engine from having their games on the storefront for Apple. After that happened, Apple just said, you know what? Fuck this shit. I smell blood in the water, I'm going in. So they countersued and want damages. As it stands, just having Fortnite off of the platform is losing them somewhere in the neighborhood, this is Epic now, losing them somewhere in the neighborhood of $26 million a month. That's an ouchie. Okay. So on top of that loss, they're also now getting countersued for damages.
All right.
So that judge is just juggling like 14,000 different things. Yes, they got all sorts of spice. I don't really care who comes out on top in this one. Like I said, it's the billionaire slapfest that nobody gives a fuck about. But
yeah.
But there you go. Apple, blood in the water going in on it. And then they said, and this is a quote, "There is nothing anti-competitive about charging a commission for others to use one's service. Many platforms, including Epic's own app marketplace and Unreal Engine, do just that," which they're not wrong.
It's true.
There's absolutely truth, unfortunately, for Epic. Really, I didn't know what Epic expected to accomplish here. Is the 30% thing for what Apple is providing, is that egregious? Yes, but it's their platform and they can do whatever the fuck they really feel like doing. It's not anti-competitive, it's just there. In fact, really, if you think about it, it would be anti-competitive for Apple themselves, because you would think that if it was a really big issue, they would be driving more and more people to Android's market to say, fuck Apple because I want to keep my 30%. That's not how it happens, though. And so, really, how anti-competitive can it possibly be? Epic, who then also admitted that they basically kickstarted this whole thing intentionally by creating the workaround for V-Bucks. So
did.
They admitted. They actually admitted that. That's on the record. Okay. So they went to court with a fabricated situation after breaking the terms of service.
Entrapment.
And literally trying to fucking get them going. And like, so what are they trying to win here? What is the judge? Why would the judge side with them on this? This is crazy. They're like literally, it's nuts. And so,
we'll see.
Yeah, again, the judge just dealing with just an absolute shit pile. But yeah, there you have it. We'll let you know what happens next. I'm gonna go with Epic getting fucked harder.
I'm gonna guess that too.
Yeah, so I think that's a safe bet. Next up, the big news of the week. This is the Catalina wine mixer of the week of September 10th, 2020. Only 2 months from release, we finally got one of the next generation consoles pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. It was supposed to be next week, but it leaked. Somebody fucked up. It leaked. And now here we are. At like 4:13 in the morning, the official Xbox account says, all right, well, it's out, so yes, this is the pricing. And then they said they had more to show later on, which they do. They've been continuing to kind of fill out the leak to explain more as it has gone on. Now, personally, I thought that this week we were going to get PlayStation announcing their pricing already, or something major this week, because yesterday was the 25th anniversary of the PlayStation in North America. And so I thought, well, Xbox just released their pricing, albeit a leak. Whether or not it was an intentional leak or not doesn't really matter. Their pricing is out. 25th anniversary of your fucking console. Let's go. Bring the fucking noise. Bring the roof down. This is where you get it out and make it happen. And they did exactly nothing. They were dead quiet. And let me tell you why they were dead quiet, Jeff. Because Xbox dropped several penises on the table at the same time. It was an octo dick. Shit got very real. And not because of the Series X pricing. No. That's not the elephant in the room right now. That's not the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room was the console that we called here on Technical Alpha, the Xbox Series S. Which unfortunately looks like a McDonald's drive-thru speaker, but that's okay. Because for $299 at launch, it can look like whatever kind of fucking speaker it wants to look like.
Yeah.
Because it's $299!
That's insane. I saw that and I had to do a double take. I went, what? $299.
Bro, let's break this down a little more, because that's only the tip of the fucking iceberg, truly.
Oh, dude, they went nuts.
There were several Billy Mays moments of, but wait, there's more.
Yes.
Several. So let's break it down. So first of all, it's what I expected. Actually, it's a little bit higher than I expected, but I still think that people will probably lock it in for most games if there's an option to 1080p. But they are targeting 1440p 60 with up to 120 FPS capabilities, probably with like much more simple games or whatever the fuck, like maybe Ori and the Blind Forest or some shit would do 120, maybe, I don't know. Either way, 1440p 60. They could have said 1080p 60.
Would have been fine.
And nobody would have batted an eye
Yep.
at that, because it would come with HDR, ray tracing, everything else. All right, let's break this down. The only real concern people had that I've seen so far is, one, it's an all-digital version, which you would expect because you take the drive out, that saves you $50 right off the fucking rip.
Yeah.
It's got its internal storage to start is 512 gigs. That's the biggest knock on this console, is that it's 512 starting. The X, I think, comes with a 1 terabyte, which obviously makes sense as it's $200 more. However, when you're talking about a digital only, people obviously get concerned because that might be, especially if you're playing, let's say, Call of Duty Warzone, one video game. In reality, for most games right now, even games coming up, you're looking at somewhere between 80 and I would say 120 gigs for really big titles. Like the AAA, really big titles, somewhere between 80 and 120, unless again, your Call of Duty Warzone, and then size just, there's no upper limit. It's whatever your hard drive can provide, they will take it. So you're looking at maybe, let's say, 4 or 5 games on that internal hard drive installed at any given time. Which for some people, I guess, is a concern. I wouldn't foresee myself having more than 5 AAA titles installed on any console at any given time personally, but some people like to install it, set it and forget it, and like the fucking rotisserie chicken shit, and then whenever they come back 3 years from now and they're like, yeah, I already played this game or beat it, but I want to go back to it, and it's already installed. Some people like to do that shit. It obviously still has the ability to expand it with the same memory card thing that the X has, which to break that down further, the S is almost exactly the X, except with the smaller hard drive and the GPU dropped. The CPU is confirmed to be the exact same CPU that's in the X. It's clocked ever so slightly slower. I think 100 megahertz, maybe 200 megahertz, which would put it, from the CPU perspective, only 100 megahertz slower than the full-blown PS5. From a CPU side. The GPU is obviously significantly weaker than the PS5 or the X. But, again, for $299, and for most people still using a 1080p TV at home,
it don't matter.
It doesn't fucking matter.
It really doesn't matter. Like, the only time it's going to matter is probably on the next generation of these consoles. So like another 2 years down the road where you might start seeing games being developed, and if you have a certain television that you want to play it on, then you might want to think about upgrading. Maybe.
But I mean, look, this is why the S is so good. The S, even though people think it's only good right now, the S is going to cover, and I'm not fucking with you, between 70 and 80% of the market for the next 5 years. That doesn't mean 70 or 80% will go that way, and we're going to get that to that point soon here as to why I think that, but the vast majority of the market that's into console gaming is going to be comfortable just picking up a Series S and calling it a fucking day. And just walking away from it. So, You get the same instant on, because it's the same CPU, same internal hard drive system, all that stuff that the X has that they talked up about, load times and all that shit. That's all there. You're really, quite literally, just sacrificing graphic quality in terms of resolution. Pretty much everything else is there, if not everything. And so they made it simple. They didn't make it more complicated than that. It's like they put up the sheet for it. They're like, this is this. This is that. The GPU went down, and that's basically the show. All right, what else can I say here? I got a lot of notes here. It is also, and for some people this can be important, considerably smaller than the X. In fact, The Verge put up a picture comparing the NVIDIA's 3080 GPU, the Series S and the Series X. The GPU is literally like the size of the fucking Series S. It's way smaller. It's at least, it might even be less than half the depth of the X, and it looks like roughly half an inch to an inch shorter than the X. So it's a very tight, very small, compact system that's going to do games at max fidelity, 1080p to 1440p 60, HDR, maybe even throw in some ray tracing, but you're probably going to drop to 1080 for that ray tracing. But again, people buying this console, not going to fucking care.
Doesn't matter.
And you're off to the races for $299 at launch.
Crazy.
Now, again, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
There is so much more.
This next part is crazy.
This is this next part is where I actually lost. I don't know, like in my mind, I started losing how they were making money. I started to try and come up with like how the fuck they're making money, because the first thing is $499 for the X. Let's not skip over that. I thought it was going to be $599 easy based on the performance of that box. I'm not convinced that they're not taking a $50 loss on both of these fucking SKUs. Which tells me, unless they have the world's craziest supply chain right now during the fucking pandemic, to have these parts coming in super cheap, to be cranking out a $499 and a $299, brand new off the line with no economy of scale yet systems, they're taking a fucking loss on both of those consoles. Which tells me that they are even more, including the part I'm about to get to, even more confident that the Game Pass is where Microsoft is going to make all of their money in their gaming division, full stop, period.
Yeah.
All of it. They give zero fucks about hardware, which is why they're not trying to push people to the Xbox and putting everything on the PC. They're putting shit out here to get games in people's hands, and more specifically, getting games in people's hands using the Game Pass. And this is how they're gonna fucking do it. You can finance, and I use that word fucking loosely, finance the Series S or the Series X for $25 a month US or $35 a month US, respectively, with no money down, zero money down, and no interest. You literally just pay for this console across 2 years, and at the other side, in some regions, you save on I can't remember if it's the S or the X, you save $50 by financing it versus not. And that's because the financing isn't just about the console. Yes, it's already insane that for zero down, you could get an X for $35 a month for 2 years, or the S for $25. That's already a good deal. No money down, no interest. But what if I fucking told you that you also get 2 years of Xbox Game Pass included in that price?
That's insane.
That on its own is $15 a month, which tells you that you're really financing the S for $10 a month and the X for $15.
Oh, man.
Or 20, I should say. But wait,
There's more.
There's more. What if I told you that despite the fact that Game Pass already comes with 200 games currently available, which includes backwards compatible titles on the 360 and Xbox that they put on that pass, plus anything over the next 2 years that they put out onto that fucking pass, you also now get EA Play, which is their subscription service, and the 60 titles plus anything over the next 2 years that they put out on that one for no more money. You get 2 fucking services plus a financed brand new console for $25 or $35 a month for 2 years. If you are a person that plays a lot of games, the amount of money that you could save by having this as your option is actually insane.
Yeah.
You're not paying $70 to $90 a month for a brand new game that just came out. If you're playing one game a month, you're paying $25 or $35 a month for your console, all of the Xbox Game Pass catalog, and all of the EA Play catalog.
Wild.
And people still have the audacity to say, but where are the fucking games? And at which point I'm just saying, just shut the fuck up, bro. They are literally, I put a tweet out that said, Microsoft to soon announce that Xbox Game Pass comes with no hassle, no pre-test, pre-screening healthcare, plus subsidized starter family homes in 2022. That's where the value is going with this shit. You cannot possibly beat that deal.
No.
I don't fucking care what exclusive Sony has. If you're only paying $25 a month for the, or whatever, yeah, $25 a month for the S, you just go buy a fucking PS5 and play it anyway. But Microsoft is gonna get your money, and if you fucking stonewall these bastards for $25 or $35 a fucking month that some people are spending on lunch at the cafeteria in between fucking work hours in a day, you're fucking gonna stiff arm Microsoft because you hate Microsoft so much and you want to say, where are the exclusives? I can just get this everywhere. You're fucking high. And I'm gonna be quite frank with you, retarded. $25 to $35 a month for all of that is crazy. Unprecedented, unmatched, and Sony has no outs. Sony right now, the reason why you didn't hear anything yesterday, I fucking promise you, why on the 25th anniversary of their fucking brand in North America, they had 2 tweets that were somewhere between a fart in a wind and a piss in the same wind, is because they have nothing right now that sounds positive enough to go up against the news that Microsoft just dropped. They have to let it blow over a bit. They have to let everything calm the fuck down. And then they're going to come out and they're going to announce the Sony PS5 will sell for $499 and the PS5 discless for $449 or $429. Maybe they get real spicy and they give the discless version with half the size hard drive for $399 just to close the gap between the X and the S from a price perspective. And then they come out and say, we have the games. They won't clarify that neither Sony or Microsoft have like any first-party titles worth playing for the first 2 years almost anyway, but they will say, we've got the games. Because that's all they've got right now. Which I know for some people means that they've already won, but bro, for $25 a fucking month or $35 a month with all those games and the Game Pass and EA Play, and I'm pretty sure somewhere in there includes a free fucking hand job if you want it. It doesn't matter if you've got Naughty Dog under your belt putting out one game in the next 2 years. It doesn't matter that you have a remastered Demon's Souls coming. It's a game from like 2005. It doesn't matter that you've got that shit. because parents in the middle of the fucking Rona with no dollars and no cents are coming up on Christmas time and they see $25 a fucking month and they go, sign me up! I'm getting 2! And they look at Sony's offering and they go, $499 up front, no nothing, no anything, can't get any fucking games, gotta pay $70 a pop, and I can give my kid 260 games off the rip for 25? Nope! Santa Claus fucked up the order, Timmy, sorry! You got an Xbox!
Good news! All 3 of your brothers get your own Xboxes.
No fighting! No fighting over it!
None! Y'all get one. It's Oprah season. Just look underneath the bed. You get an Xbox. You get an Xbox. And you get an Xbox. And everybody gets Game Passes. Yay!
Bro, I saw an article that tried to find a real hard negative in this setup, and the best they came up with is, please be careful when you sign up to put your credit on the line, because if you miss a payment, it can damage your credit. And I'm not fucking with you. That was an actual sizable chunk of an article trying to find an issue with this setup.
Welcome to the world of financing. I wonder if you can finance this bitch and then just pay it off whenever you want. Like, I wonder if you can put this on a 2-year finance and then a month, 2-3 months down the road, say, you know what, I'm just going to pay this off, and then just pay it off.
I don't know. Does it matter? Because you're not saving any money doing that. Because there's no interest.
I suppose you're right. You got me there. I don't know.
Bro, I don't even know if they got enough Xboxes to fucking deal with what's going to come with the demand.
You know, they needed this. And this was like a play that none of us even really thought of. I mean, you can't...
Who in the fuck would have?
You can't even...
Because again, I don't know how they're making money.
Well, they're not, obviously. They're not making money on the consoles. They're making money on this fucking Game Pass.
I'm still trying to figure out how they're making money on the Game Pass.
Well, what they're doing right now is they're just doing, like, you know, R&D right now. They're getting people in, they're getting people hooked. They're going to make this part of their life for 2 years. When you got it and you've already paid for it, or it comes with something, you're going to get used to the service. And then what's going to happen, bro, in 2 years, mark my words, in 2 years to the day, that Game Pass is going to go up in price.
Oh, absolutely.
It is going 100%. To go up. Not in any
It's not going to double.
Not in any small amount. It's going to go up. And people are going to go, I love my Game Pass. I'm going to pay it. It's like what Netflix has done. Netflix would go out and spend $150 million on a movie for it to get made.
Yeah.
And is that movie going to make $150 million? No. But what it's doing is it's keeping people on the platform wanting to watch whatever new is coming. And when you know that more stuff is being added, you're just going to keep the service. That's what they're doing. And that's really all you can think of. That's all I can think of now, because they're not making money off consoles. It's not happening. At most, they're break even.
Here's the thing. Here's the craziest thing about Game Pass. Is that so long as that there was one video game a month being released that you wanted to play that was coming to Game Pass, Game Pass could literally cost $49 a month, which it never will. Yes. I promise you it will never get that high. But it could cost $49 a month, and it would still be valuable to basically anyone playing and beating one video game a month.
Yeah. I can see the Game Pass going up to $29.99 a month.
I think that's its absolute fucking ceiling.
Yeah,
is $29 a month. I think it goes to $19.99 in 2 years from $15. So it's $14.99 now. I think they bumped to $19.99 after the end.
I think that's a minimum. I think it could be $24.99. $29.99 is a bit of a steep thing unless they start announcing like, hey, you can unlock one AAA title a month, or on your Game Pass, we're giving you 3 AAA titles that you can unlock within a year. So you pick and choose which ones that you want to unlock. That's the only way I can think of to get like a $29.99 a month commitment, because then you could just pick and choose. Like, say if there's 2 AAA titles you don't like, well, I'm not going to waste my credit. Be like an Audible credit. I don't want to waste my AAA credit on that. But very similar to Audible, you can hold on to those credits, save them up. So maybe there's 2-3 games, bang, 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 that you want to get. You can use those up. Who knows? But the deal right now is insane. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not just saying this to jump on, because we get fucking shitted on for shitting on Microsoft or whatever. I am no joke. Like, I'm buying my PlayStation. I'm just a PlayStation guy. And the reality is they do have the games. I mean, I don't care. And I know, yeah, that's an argument. But there is just facts to it. Like, they just got a better catalog for me. Even though there isn't anything spectacular coming out, day one for either.
The catalog
console, really.
will be good in 3 years almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna, I'm gonna buy a PlayStation for the sake of buying a PlayStation. I'm just gonna have it. But what I will say, and I'm gonna say it right now, I mean it. I'm buying an Xbox X, and I'm buying one day one. And the reason why I'm buying it at $299, I have to just reward this. I mean, I have to just reward them for how accessible the console is for the masses. And this is great for people that only plan to buy a PlayStation. Some people will be able to go, you know what? I'm willing to actually own both. Maybe I have friends that are just going to buy the Xbox. I can afford to buy one, and the off chance that I want to play with my buddies, or a AAA title, an exclusive comes the Xbox down the road that I want to play, I can buy that now. It isn't a big a pill to swallow as dropping another $500 US on a console that you're not going to use as your main squeeze. So that hits a demographic for me. Not everybody's in that position, but for me, I'm going to own both.
All right, I agree with you. I think you're not. I don't think you're in as, that's still a pretty big demographic. There's a fair amount of people that will end up owning both of these for sure. But here's the thing. Yeah, xCloud is part of it, but it's so they're not talking up xCloud for a reason. It's good, and it will get better, and it'll be part of it. But all right, I have to clear some shit up because we had people talking in chat about this for a while. There's some misinformation. We got to clear this shit up. Right now, on the PC, because it's still been in beta this is actually changing if you look it up, I think, in the not too distant future, within the month or even less. Xbox Game Pass on the PC is like $7.99, I think, or just Game Pass is $7.99 a month on PC for just the PC specific one. That's changing and going up to $10 a month. If you already own a gaming PC that is capable of doing what the S or the X can do, then obviously what they're offering here is not for you. Because you already have something that does what either of those do, plus have access to Game Pass, which you're still giving Microsoft your money, which is what they are doing all of this for in the first place. They're hitting the widest demographic they can. And so the only thing that you could do as a comparison point right now would be comparing buying an S or an X outright and then buying Game Pass Ultimate when it's on sale, which happens occasionally, to save the dollars and cents here and there, which a website has already done. I can't remember which website it is off the top, man. They've already done all this. It might have been Eurogamer. I can't remember. And, sorry, my right nose, the change of the seasons has happened. My right nose has been friggin' making me want to sneeze for friggin' 2 days now. The difference is like maybe $50, I think. If you absolutely maximized it by buying a console, I think it was the S, if I'm not mistaken, and then you or the X, and then you maximize your Game Pass. Look, Microsoft is not trying to dick you here. Microsoft is making this about the easiest financing and the easiest access point for the most people possible. There is no hidden shit. There is no fucking Houdini magic mathematical whatever going on here. It's literally, if you are in the market for a video game console because you don't already fucking own a gaming PC, we all know, you big dick motherfuckers out there, yeah, I got a fucking gaming PC and I can play fucking trillions of games for $0 and 0 fucking cents. We know. It ain't for you. And the PlayStation would be for you insofar as that you want to spend $500 in tax up front and then wait either for buying that console or waiting and playing the fucking 5 exclusives over its life cycle that it will have that Xbox doesn't. That's as complicated as it gets for you, if you're even interested in that shit. But you're not the market. PC gamers have this fucking weird headspace where they think that because they have a PC that is capable of hanging with or beating consoles, that's just the fucking norm. If you look up right now on Steam's database for the most common resolution, 1080p is still fucking manhandling everything by 80% plus. The majority of the world isn't fucking rolling in money. They aren't literally bathing in Benjamins. So for $25 a month to get access to a console that can do more than, I'm going to tell you, most of the PCs in this room right fucking now watching this podcast, because most PCs would still struggle to do 1440 60 on the market, because you have to step into a 2070 before that mostly makes sense. That's an enormous amount of value, and it covers way more of the market than you think it exists. So
yeah, it's a big dick swing. It's an Nvidia swing. It's a game changer. And right now, Sony is frantically trying to figure out how they're going to combat this in some way, shape, or form. Is definitely going to hurt Sony's bottom line, because one way or another, they're definitely dropping the price of their console, even if it is $50. It's going down, or they're going to be forced to add in services in all of this, or they're going to take a hit. They're still going to be the winner.
Absolutely.
They're still going to win. They're still going to sell more copies.
Hold that thought right there. Drew, you're right. A PC is an Xbox because Microsoft is putting their first-party titles on there. I fucking challenge you, by the end of this podcast, to build a PC that will do 1440p 60 for $299 in tax.
Go.
God fucking speed. Moving on. We're still waiting for Sony to have their announcement. We don't know when that's going to happen. If it didn't happen yesterday, it's probably not going to happen until next week, because they're not going to make a Friday announcement. Tuesday would be the fucking earliest. And if it's a big announcement, it'll be Tuesday or Thursday of next week, is my guess. If they do a Friday announcement, it's because they want the news buried. That's just the way how news fucking works. And so we'll wait and see. But I would be shocked if it isn't $499 and then the discless version isn't $449 or $429. And if they dig in deep, and I promise you, they haven't slept since the Xbox price got announced. They have been trying to figure out if it's $399 for the discless version, $429 or $449. Those three price points.
Yeah.
They have been battling. And they might have even, at some point, Susan, at the end of the fucking executive table, might have stood up and said, hey, how about we do the PS5 full-on for $3.99 and split the difference between the X and the S. Somebody definitely fucking suggested that shit. They have fielded the idea. I don't think that's gonna happen, but they definitely fucking fielded the idea. I cannot wait to hear what the pricing is gonna be for the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 discless. We're gonna have to wait and find out.
We'll find out soon.
Next up, we have Call of Duty Cold War, which was shown off. There was a bunch, they had a little event there. There was a bunch of content creators, streamers, and whatnot that they had brought on to play some of the game. The multiplayer showed that off. It looked like Call of Duty, Jeff.
It's more Call of Duty.
And like, not even like, it didn't look like graphically more impressive. It didn't look like they were adding a heck of a lot going on from what I saw. I saw some swimming.
That happened.
In multiplayer. So there was a aquatic Call of Duty access. Otherwise, it was Call of Duty. So for those who are excited about Call of Duty, congratulations. There's more Call of Duty. And Zombies is back, yes. Which lots of people are rabid zombie fans. Zombie mode for Call of Duty is massive. So they're probably very excited about that. Next up, we had Hyrule Warriors. Age of Calamity was announced by Nintendo here the other day, coming out for November 20th of this year. It takes place 100 years before Breath of the Wild. So this is another one in the line of the Hyrule Warriors. I think they just had the one before. It's basically like Dynasty Warriors, but painted Zelda. The original was pretty good. It's pretty fun. You know, they're just hack and slash, whatever the fuck. But you know, they can be a pretty good time to just, you know, for people who like to collect and unlock shit and just spam buttons to victory. They can be a pretty good time. So you can look forward to more of that. The biggest downside to that is that because there's so much happening on screen at once, the frame rate is some of the worst I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that game gets down into the fucking tens. Like slideshow, for real. So if the new Switch that's coming next year can make this game not run so bad, that would be a big benefit for sure. But that's many months after November, so take that for what you will. Next up, there's a rumor going around right now that a Ninja Gaiden trilogy may be showing up on PS4 and the Switch. Not a new one necessarily, but a package deal of 3 previously released Ninja Gaiden games. The rumored ones that they are saying might be coming are Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Sigma 2, and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, the latter of which was the only one to show up, I think, on a Nintendo console, and that was on the Wii U, if I'm not mistaken. And so, people relatively jacked about that. Ninja Gaiden's a pretty popular series. We haven't seen much of it for a while. It's giant anime ninja titties and Ryu fucking people up with terrible camera angles. If I had to say 3 things about Ninja Gaiden, that is literally the top 3. Anime ninja titties, and Ryu fucking dudes up, and bad camera angles. That's like the holy trinity of Ninja Gaiden. It is, yeah, so it's slated, or they're saying that it would be slated to be released PS4 and Switch in March of 2021, and for $40, which is not a bad deal. If you're a Ninja Gaiden fan, and you're looking to, you know, grab all 3 of them, and maybe you haven't played one of them, and I'm gonna guess that for some people on the PlayStation side, they wouldn't have had the opportunity to perhaps play Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. $40? Not a bad ask. Now, whether or not they're doing anything to those games, or if they're just slamming them together into a package, throwing them out the door, I don't know yet. That information might be flowing around out there. I didn't see anything about it. Have you played any of the more modern Ninja Gaidens?
No, just the really old ones. I've got them for like Nintendo. Like I've played those old ones, but nothing like recent.
OG Ninja Gaiden.
Tough game.
Fucks you up.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the Ninja Gaidens, new or old, fuck you up. I remember buying Ninja Gaiden Black for the Xbox, the original Xbox, and beating that game was like Dark Souls before Dark Souls. Mostly, again, because of the camera. The camera was fucking atrocious. I mean, you were fighting the camera more than you were fighting the enemies, 90% of the time. But that game was great. Graphically I remember being blown away by how it looked visually. All the Ninja Gaiden games always tended to look really good. They were just really solid games. And it would be nice to see maybe another new one. This is what I always expect, is when we see a trilogy or a trio of games like this announced, that on the back of that, building, not necessarily hype, but getting the name back out there, they're going to say, hey, there's a new Ninja Gaiden game coming. And I suspect that's probably going to be... That was my door, not yours. You're good. If you heard that.
I was like, what was that?
That was just M coming out of the workout room. Yeah, so you can look forward to that for all of you Ninja Gaiden fans. And lastly, Ubisoft, which was in the midst of a live event right as we were starting up the podcast. I think it actually was the exact hour that we started up. We can talk more about that stuff next week, because I didn't get a chance to actually sit down and look. I know Foxy has been sending me the highlights of it on Discord, but I mean, I don't know any more than just what he's saying in terms of the games.
About it next week.
So we can talk about it next week. But what I can say is that leading up to this, Ubisoft decided. She's like fucking Mission Impossible sides, like doing this along the fucking TV, trying not to show up on camera right now. Just trying so hard. Saying that before leading up to this event, saying that Skull and Bones, Beyond Good and Evil 2, and 2 other mystery games, which by the way, I forgot Beyond Good and Evil 2 was even still happening, which is kind of the story of that entire game, to be honest, are all quadruple A. They're hopping on the Microsoft bandwagon.
Come on, bro.
They're saying that not only do they also agree that some games are quadruple A, but they, as an individual developer, have 4 bangers in the fucking mix that are quadruple A.
Oh man. Ooh, baby. 2 mystery games. I wonder what those are. Ooh.
I can tell you what it's not. It's
Perfect
not
Dark.
I can tell you it's not Splinter Cell. They'll put Sam Fisher in literally every other game before they make a new Splinter Cell, so it's probably not a Splinter Cell. But yeah, AAA games not enough. We got quadruple A's now, and Ubisoft apparently banging out 4 of them. Beyond Good and Evil doesn't need to be a quadruple A game, Jeff. Beyond Good and Evil 2 just needs to release.
Yes.
That's the benchmark for them right now with that game.
Yeah.
It's been stuck in purgatory for basically the length of time that Duke Nukem Forever was. And they're out here now trying to push that game as a quadruple A title.
Nah.
Just get across the finish line.
Dude, what the fuck, man? Are we really, is this the new thing that gaming now is gonna try and sell us? Quadruple A?
Yes, apparently. Apparently that's the thing.
Wow.
Either way. That's all we got for gaming news, Mr. Black. Are you ready for... Oh, here, I'll slide this in because I didn't say at the beginning of the cast. My week, same old same, except I played 2 days of League of Legends ranked. I haven't played.
Still alive.
I haven't played in 4 years, basically, and I can say this: I still enjoy the game. The community has not changed.
No.
Even though there are new players, it's like that game attracts a very specific brand of idiot that makes me fear for the future of the world. But the game is still fun. I also placed in bronze for the first time in my life because I only won 1 in 10 games because, and I have video record of this, and even the people I was playing with were going, I don't know who you fucked over at Riot, but these are the worst teams I've ever seen. And so now I'm climbing out of bronze. So
nice.
that's a fun time.
Hell
but you know what else is fun, Mr. Black?
What?
Selling out. I've got a problem, Jeff.
What's your problem, Adam?
Now that I'm playing League of Legends,
okay,
there are some things that I need to make happen as soon as a game starts up. Because if you don't, you're in for a bad time. Okay. So I need some options here. It's too slow and it's too obtrusive to hold tab and have the screen show up and have to like manually mute everyone's chat and then mute their pings and then mute their emotes, because that's 3 different things. That's how the granularity is now.
Yeah.
In League of Legends. It's too granular. What's more, I want to be able to emote as well, but I don't want to have to use I don't want to slash dance. I just want to press one button and slash dance. Is there something that you could do to make my life easier, muting the toxicity and dancing like nobody's watching, Jeff?
I can, and it's called the Stream Deck.
Okay.
I got one right here. My cord won't go any further. All right.
What size should I get?
Well, this one, you know what? If you're playing just League of Legends,
all
right, just get a mini. That's all you need in your life is a mini. All right. You know why? Because even though a mini might only be, this big, once you click a button, you can open up a folder for more buttons again. It's an infinite button maker. So if you want to do some emotes and you want to do a little dance or you want to show off your little badge over your head, you can go ahead and hotkey right on to your Stream Deck so that all you have to do is click a button. You can spam that button if you want to be that 10-year-old in League of Legends that just wants to annoy everybody. You have that option. You have that option.
Mr. Black, what if on every single game it's like my mother's being dishonored in some way, shape, or form? Is it possible to have baked in responses, to have a catalog so that I don't repeat myself? If I'm going to respond to these children, I want to at least have some variety because it's the spice of life. Can I have predetermined responses for every time somebody tells me that my mother fucks various objects?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can just hotkey your way through and just say, no, she does not do those things to those objects, but thank you for asking. You could also have a hotkey where you're just like, come down bottom. You're never bottom. I told you our lane is going to get fucked if you don't come down bot. But yet, you just found a Master Yi on YouTube that is really, really good at soloing a whole game and just being a hero, and you thought that you could replicate it in bronze. The answer's no. So you could just have a button, you click that button, and it could just ping, bot, bing, 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 bot, bing, bing, bot, bing, bing. And don't forget, when you play League of Legends, you don't need a Stream Deck to do this. Just mute everybody. Just mute everybody and just focus on your game and try and have fun. And if you really, really want to spice things up, you can go ahead and pick up an Elgato Wave microphone.
So you can talk to them one-on-one, like a bad Dr. Phil session.
Exactly. And you can coach them, because in order to actually talk to teammates in League of Legends, you must be a registered psychiatrist, and you have to be able to sit down and tell them you're doing okay when they're not. You need to tell them they're doing okay when they're doing okay. You need to just be able to reach them on a personal level and let them know that you care about them and stroke their egos. You can do that with the Elgato Wave products. Link is in the description below.
Mr. Black, what if I wanted to do that, but I wanted to do it looking like I was also physically in the Rift?
You could get yourself an Elgato green screen, a key light to make sure the lighting is perfect so your green screen just looks seamless. So you're literally in the Rift. And then you can use your Stream Deck to do all your pinging and dancing and raging and play that music that, maybe there's a certain song that just gets you amped up. Just a click of a button. You don't even need to alt tab out and do all kinds of other things. Just click the button.
Now, Mr. Black, what happens when I've already maxed out my skills on the North American side of League of Legends? Because as we all know, North America is the absolute worst at League of Legends. We're going to ignore the fact that TSM is going to Worlds just for this gag. But it's the worst. We all know that North America is the worst. I want to brush up my skills where the big boys play. I want to go to Europe. Can you help me?
Yeah, I mean, you could use a VPN by the name of NordVPN. You can use that promo code OTT and get 68% off on a 2-year term plus a bonus month for free. Not only that, 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you've had enough getting pounded in the European servers, well, you should probably stay on there. You probably should stay on the European servers because going back to NA, not a good life choice. All right? Plus, your whole family could be playing League of Legends, up to 6 of yous simultaneously on European servers, even though you're not from Europe. By just a click of a button, you can go from Europe, you can go on Chinese servers, you can go on whatever servers you want. When you use NordVPN Plus, while you're using NordVPN, you can stay safe and anonymous because a lot of these raging 10-year-olds are probably coming for your personal data when they rage and lose, and they're going to blame you. So stay safe. Get yourself a VPN. Say, no, not my IP address. I'm some random Joe Schmo in Sweden, and there isn't a chance you finding my stuff. Not only that, servers are fast. You can game on them. So go out, pick up NordVPN. They are a big sponsor of the stream. Support them. We're going to be with them at least till the end of the year.
That's right.
We're going to be a little while. So go ahead, show them some love. Link is in the description below of the sponsors. And don't forget to go to patreon.com/legtv and throw your wallet at the screen.
It's just that simple.
It's that easy.
Hit the like button and comment on YouTube. This is just your reminder. If you've made it this far, and you started the moment that I posted it, you're already 12 minutes late. So next time, get it in a little faster. If you know what I mean. Mr. Black, you know what time it is.
Movies and TV.
As it turns out, Mr. Black, COVID-19 is still a thing. Who would have thought it? And as it is still a thing, unfortunately, Robert Pattinson almost immediately upon resuming filming for The Batman, tested positive for COVID-19 and they had to stop.
That happened.
Who would have fucking thought?
That sucks.
I have not heard any updates on his condition, if he has a severe version or if he's got, something else going on.
Yeah, I would imagine he's young, he's healthy. Yeah, I don't want to assume anything, but my guess is they'll probably start production again at the beginning of October. And then everything will be fine. But it definitely slows things down a bit. And who knows if he spread it to anybody else, especially the higher ups, because, he's going to be around the people that, I don't want to say the people that really matter, because everybody matters in a movie set, but like the bigger heads,
Yeah.
And, if some of those people get sick, it might slow it down even more. So hopefully nothing spread around too much and, they can get back to filming sooner than later. Did you see this?
What did I miss?
I just posted this in Twitter.
Okay.
If you didn't see this, gotta watch it.
All right, hold on. Let me see. Oh, is this something that we have to simultaneously watch, or am I just checking this out?
You can just watch it. You can just. It's very, very quick. It's 40 seconds.
All right, one sec here. One sec here. I get that. Hot, please, no. No. No! No. No. Daisy Ridley was supposed to be Rey Kenobi, then Rey Nobody. That's an actual Rey Nobody. I'm going to say it one more time. Rey Nobody. Then Rey Palpatine in the worst planned and written trilogy in the history of cinema. Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson, and J.J. Abrams. Every day more proof is surfacing on how you blew it. Not that we needed more proof, but fuck a Kathleen Kennedy. Fuck a Rian Johnson. Fuck a J.J. Abrams. Fuck them all. Fuck them all. There's not even what... Rey Nobody?
It just what it was, and John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, Mark Hamill, they're all starting to speak out. I mean,
John Boyega has officially hit the 0 fucksometer.
Well, by
a while ago.
Daisy Ridley is there too, because Disney did Daisy Ridley bad.
Dirty.
I mean,
yeah.
they she was the face of all this. Essentially, I don't know if everybody could hear that on your end, but essentially what Daisy Ridley was saying is there was no plan. Disney had no idea what they were doing, where they were going with the series before the series was made. They had The Force Awakens, and then they handed it over to Rian Johnson. He did his own thing. And then they handed it over to JJ, and then he did his own thing again. And they had no real script, no real direction. Daisy Ridley was told she could have been this, and then it was this, and then it was like, no, actually, it's not that anymore. And then it was like, okay, now it's this. And now it's like, well, actually, no, now you're a nobody. Now you're this. No, wait, scratch that. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, we're going to do that. It's bad. We all kind of knew this, but now, hearing it from the start, and you could tell by her attitude and her demeanor about this, she's not happy about it. She's probably tired of being blamed for some of this, even though it's not her fault. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. They took the Star Wars franchise
and shit all over it.
Fucked it hard. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there because that was interesting.
But, it doesn't matter because they all made north of $1 billion, which means for everyone else involved at the top, it was a success. And nothing will convince them otherwise because they made over $1 billion each, even though I could have written the scripts and they would have made over $1 billion each because it's fucking Star Wars. But my God. Again, I just feel the worst. I feel the worst for Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, even though Harrison probably doesn't give a fuck. And
I don't feel bad for Harrison Ford because he actually gives 0 fucks. He made money. I feel bad for Mark Hamill, who's
specifically
pretty
like the most. He's pretty hardcore about it.
And I feel bad for the cast, like almost everybody, because it's not their fault. They had a job and they went out and did what they were told, and they did a phenomenal job with what they were given.
How are you going to take a fucking storied fucking franchise like that and then disrespect it so fucking hard? How are you going to fucking do that? And they continue to do it.
They did it.
They haven't stopped. They're still making Star Wars properties.
Yeah.
We're getting more news about The Mandalorian Season 2.
I don't even care about The Mandalorian, to be honest with you.
Does anyone fucking care about The Mandalorian?
Yeah, they do, but it's because it's very, very casual. It's like I find that that show isn't really made for hardcore Star Wars fans. I think it's just like enough Star Wars mixed in with whatever the fuck is popular these days, with a cute little fucking Yoda baby, and that's pretty much it. Without that Yoda baby, I don't actually see any redeeming quality about the show whatsoever. Hell, the main character, who's an incredible actor, you don't even fucking see his face, and
it wasn't even him in the fucking suit.
Not even him, because they don't want to pay him what he's worth.
Yep.
So anyway, anywho,
Disney.
What's next?
Speaking of Disney, Mulan.
How was it?
Did you see it yet?
I didn't watch it yet. No.
All right, don't.
Okay.
Or at the very least, wait for it to be free. I took the bullet for you because Em really wanted to watch it. I tried to convince her otherwise, but she said, no, I want to watch it. So I said, okay. Mulan is a 4 out of 10 on the absolute best of days. And it is a 4 out of 10 by the good graces of a handful of almost passably interesting scenes from a visual perspective, most of which include Donnie Yen. For everything else, it's a dumpster fire. No jokes land. In fact, they do worse than not land. They're painfully obvious in their cookie cutter isms to the point where it's not even Disney funny. It's not funny at any level. And in fact, there is no Disney magic to be found anywhere in this movie except for the ending credits. And I don't mean that just because the movie fucking finally ends and you're happy about it. But they play one of the 2 leading songs that you never fucking hear anywhere else, basically, except for a brief moment in the movie. It's the, it's not Man Out of You, it's the, When Will My Reflection Show song, the fucking that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the orchestral off in the background. And they had the audacity to put that shit in there with literally zero of anything else from the original movie basically gracing the screen, giving you the tingliest of blue balls that at any point in time this was going to turn into a redemption arc of a movie that you could actually almost get behind. It's not. It's bad. The locales are bad. The editing is some of the worst editing I've seen in a movie that I've watched in arguably the last 10 years. And I'm not saying that because I hate this movie. I'm saying that because it's a reality, and anyone that watches it and knows film, when they see the editing, they're going to want to fucking vomit in their mouth 3 or 4 fucking thousand times during this movie. The plot is all over the place. There's 2 actors in it that actually do well, and they're actors that you probably already know and know from Western movies that you've seen in the past, and they save a shitty script with tropey bullshit that's bordering on the racist, that is obviously written by a white person at Disney trying to pander to a market in China that turned around and with 42,000 plus votes in the first 24 hours said, hey, your movie fucking blows. And then they didn't just rate it, but they're like writing comments and being very specific about how it feels like some Westerner wrote a movie that they thought was like Chinese shit. It's like, oh, my honor and my dignity and my place in the household and my this and my that and my oh my god, and it like just and then as far as the combat goes, if you liked Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but then also didn't want that formula of kung fu movie to evolve in the last 20 years, it's that, but then cut that in half, and that's what you can expect.
Rip. Damn. Going in on this bitch.
It's a bad movie that does... Not only does it not do any justice to the original Mulan, which is arguably one of Disney's best movies that they ever fucking made, but it also disrespects it at the same time. So they don't even do it the service of not pissing on it and shitting on it.
They didn't handle it with honor.
They brought great dishonor upon their family, their house, their nation, which is a line in that fucking movie at least on 2 occasions. Fuck, dude. Fuck.
All right.
It's bad. And it's another reason why I have zero faith in Disney for basically anything anymore. I don't think there's any Disney left in Disney. I think Disney is done.
Remember when I saw that trailer and I said that shit looks like dog doo-doo dong butter?
Yeah. I was holding
Apparently
out because they had the song there, and I was like, they can't. Because for me, my argument was, how can they possibly fuck a softball like this up so hard? They're making a movie for the Chinese market with Mulan! It's free real estate! It's as free real estate as you could possibly get. You showed up, and there's an entire chunk of Hawaii on the water with pristine beaches, and they looked at you and they said, guess what? You got here first. It's free real estate, and you took it. That's how fucking easy it is. And they couldn't even hit a Mulan remake for the Chinese market, not even to get to first base. They went for a bunt, and they missed. They couldn't even walk that bitch out.
Rip.
So Mulan, don't buy it. For God's sake, don't buy it. Watch it if you must in 3 months when it's out. But that's about it. The Dune trailer, Jeff, I have it listed there. I haven't seen it yet. Have you?
I did.
You did. What did you think?
I watched it twice.
Oh. What did you think? I haven't watched it yet, but what did you think?
I think it looks pretty. It's got an amazing cast. The cast is pretty insane. I mean, if you want to watch it, we can watch it.
Oh, sure. All right, we can do that real quick. I got the setup for it here just in case. You guys are going to see the starting screen here for a moment on the video. As I pull this bad boy up, I put that here somewhere. There it is. All right, got some volume, and we get over here, and this is where we officially get ads for whoever owns Dune for this entire podcast video. So enjoy this, ladies and gentlemen. You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go. Warner Media, congratulations for getting the 15 cents off of this podcast video on YouTube.
There's something happening to me. There's something awakening in my mind. I can't control it.
What did you see?
There's a crusade coming.
Do you often dream things that happen just as you dreamed them?
Yes.
The test is simple. Remove your hand from the box, and you die.
What's in the box?
Pain.
I mean,
You carry too much power.
okay.
You've proven you can rule yourself. Now you must learn to rule others. Something none of your ancestors learned.
Oh, yeah.
Rules an entire planet.
He's losing it.
He's getting a richer one.
He'll lose that one too. Arrakis is a death trap.
Kill him.
Oh, yeah.
This is an
They've got all sorts of people in this movie. What the fuck? They just keep coming.
Family off one by one.
Let's fight like demons.
An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do?
I know you.
One day, the
They've
legend
got
will be
damn
born.
near everyone in this movie.
All of civilization depends on it.
The future. I can see it.
Dave Bautista playing Dave Bautista.
I must not fear.
Aquaman playing the literal opposite of Aquaman. Desert Man.
Fear is the mind killer.
My Lord Duke.
Where the fear is gone, only I will remain.
Go, go, go!
Oh, no. Ah, yes. The giant sandworm. Damn. Let's just stop. I gotta go back here to get this cast list they had here. Oh my lord. I mean, just the ones that most people would probably at least know the names off the top of their head with Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, one of the Skarsgård brothers, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Zendaya's in here, fucking Jason Momoa.
Josh Brolin's in there.
Just everyone.
Everybody's in there. So anyway, it looks like a great sci-fi. I've never read the book, so
neither have I, and I like sci-fi, but I never brought myself to reading it because the Dune books do lean like pretty heavy political, and that's just not been my brand of sci-fi. But I do want to read them at some point for sure.
Yeah.
I like it visually. It's not the style of sci-fi that we've been getting here for quite some time. It's different. It seems like it's sci-fi, but it seems like it's taking itself the right amount of seriously, if that makes sense. Like it's almost like they're not trying to play this for a bunch of kids in any capacity. It seems adult, I guess is the word I'd be looking for.
Yeah, it almost seems too adult, and I'd say that in the best possible way. Like it looks like this movie's created for me. I get into these types of things, and I just don't know how much of a mass appeal Dune is going to have in terms of like box office or just everyday moviegoers wanting to go and see this, because it just does look heavy. Like it looks like there's just a lot going on. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't see like there's nothing in that trailer that stands out to me of like, dude, like an everyday moviegoer going, man, I can't wait to see what happens here or whatever. It's even the music choice, like it's very, it seems like they know their demographic and they're going after that demographic and not really giving a fuck about the masses.
You know what it looks like to me? Is that it looks like the sci-fi Lord of the Rings, but with even less mass appeal than they tried to work into the Lord of the Rings original trilogy.
Yeah.
Is what it looks like to me.
That's a good.
And I wouldn't be upset if that's what they did, because they stuck pretty close to the books, give or take, in Lord of the Rings. They pleased most of the fans with that, and managed to convert it into a movie trilogy that I still think is probably, from a trilogy perspective, the greatest movie trilogy of all time is The Lord of the Rings. So if they can capture that in Dune, I mean, yeah, even if it doesn't have mass appeal, I'm sure it will still do big numbers and draw a lot of people and do very well. I feel like if the first movie does really well but not quite as well as they want, you're gonna see more action-y trailer type stuff for the second one, and trying to amp it up a bit to get a little bit more people involved that don't give a fuck about the politics of it all, and they just want to see shit get fucked up. Then you might see a little bit more of that in the second one, but this first one looks like they're going to try and be as accurate to the source material as they can be within reason, and still make a compelling film, which, it's Dune. I can't imagine it would be that difficult. Dune is literally like the sci-fi version of The Lord of the Rings as well. So, I mean, it's kind of the show. Yeah, just like The Lord of the Rings, like Jedi is saying, it's super, like, Dune is a massive series. And to try and get it into three films, excuse me, even to get it, always comes in twos. Even to get it into 3 films would be an undertaking. So,
we'll see.
We'll see how they do it. We'll see how they do. I actually just, last night, speaking of Lord of the Rings, night before, oh my goodness, my right nostril's gonna drive me fucking batshit. I just got caught in a loop of reading Lord of the Rings lore.
Hmm.
When I was laying in bed. I can't even remember what spurred it on, like what I saw that like triggered it, that I was like, I want to know what the answer to this is, like within the lore of the Lord of the Rings. And then I just went on a rabbit hole. And I was just fucking lost down the rabbit hole of Wikipedia fucking Lord of the Rings lore. And every time I do that, which happens once in a blue moon, I am more and more convinced that Tolkien was arguably the greatest fucking. I don't think anyone's. People will compare Wheel of Time, to the Lord of the Rings. I don't even think you can compare those two. I think Tolkien fucking basically has the greatest fantasy series in the history of literature, and I don't think anyone's gonna top that anytime soon.
Pretty amazing.
The fact that one man came up with that much shit and did it coherently, is nuts. It's crazy. The Wheel of Time had to be handed off to somebody else to finish. I think it was Sanderson that they got handed off to, maybe, or was that the original? I can't remember now, but Tolkien was just like, fucking, my God, that dude was like, I don't know if he was on drugs, or if he slept, or a combination of both, not happening or happening. My God, it's absolutely bonkers, and it's all awesome. I'm gonna probably end up having to watch more Lord of the Rings movies again. Every time I talk about it, I just want to watch them. And they have aged like fine wine.
Yeah.
Because they did so much practical effects instead of relying on visual effects all the time, that none of it really looks old. And then you look at when the original movies came out and you're like, fucking what? Excuse me? Because they really don't look that old. Yeah, so there you go. Either way. That's all we got for that. Which means it's now time to move on to
tech support.
Every week, ladies and gentlemen, patreon.com/lagtv. It's where you want to go if you want to financially help support this podcast. You guys have been showing up and doing big things for us for a long time, and we're continuing to try and work our way towards that goal of doing a series of Jeff and I going back, reminiscing, watching old Lag TV videos. We hit that Patreon goal. Where are we at right now? How close are we at?
I haven't checked it in like 2 weeks.
Your phone looks massive. I mean, it's a Note 9, so it is massive.
We are 2 Patreons away from 350. We're at 2229.
Boom!
So we're getting there. Man, you know, guys, I know we plugged this shit, but you guys have still been supporting this
nonstop.
You know, the fact that we're still bringing in $2,000 a month after 3 years is pretty fucking awesome, guys. So thank you so much, because we make fuck all on YouTube.
Yeah,
literally zero. It pays for our website stuff that we need for RSS or whatever, the subscription.
Basically, YouTube pays for the for our delivery of the podcast. Yeah.
So
and that's
big thank you, everybody that's showing up and showing love, man, and keeping this thing going, because we like doing this. It's a nice break for us too, like once a week to hang out and like actually chill with each other and talk shit, and you know, it's nice. So
it breaks it up. And you guys have been continuing to enjoy it as well, and that makes us happy. What?
Oh, I didn't call my internet provider. I totally forgot.
Oh, somebody shit! Well, we can.
Bro, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it on my phone as an alarm.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I'm gonna call and get some. Try and see how much money I can save. I totally forgot about that.
Speaking about that. They tried to bill me for another quote-unquote missing TV box for the second time in the last calendar year.
All right, there we go.
Which is a $345 charge. And I didn't, and it actually happened twice in the last month, because what happened was last month, I knew that I had missed a month in my billing. I like lost the bill on my desk somewhere or some shit, so I forgot about it. So I was paying off, I knew I was paying 2 months. And so that should have been like $580 or something like that, because we have like a second phone line and a bunch of other shit here in the house. So But I call them up, and I was doing it right before I was going to stream. I was just paying off the bills or whatever for the month. And I called up to get my balance, and it was like $900 and some, and I was like, come again? And so I actually called back to hear the number again, and I was right, it was $900 and something. I was like, all right, I don't have the time for this right now. I'll pay it, and then I'll go dispute it later. What ended up happening was they had charged me for a missing box then, I had paid it, and then a couple days later, they recognized the error without me notifying them. They credited my account to $345. And then I went back in to pay again here the other day, and they had another $345 on the same bill that they had credited the last $345 on. Great. And so I had another massive bill, and I was like, that's physically impossible. So I called them up, and we went through the whole thing, and I was like, that ain't it. Take that shit off of there, and then I want my promotional period extended even longer, which it's already November of next year, but I was like, I want it even longer. And she said, unfortunately, as much as we would do that right now, we literally are not allowed to do that because your promotional period is still so far out. But if you call a couple weeks before it ends,
we'll work on something.
We can work on it. I said, great.
There you go.
I'll mark that in my calendar.
There you go. I'm sure you will. Hell yeah.
Time to, and that's why I get paper bills nonstop. Because if I was just auto paying, I'm out $345 twice in a 1 year period.
Wouldn't even notice it. I always get paper bills too.
Yeah. No, fuck them. But yeah, patreon.com/LightTV, $10 a month or more gets you access to a few things, including tech support, which is a post that I put up every week before the podcast where you can ask your questions and we do our best to answer said questions. Let's see what we've got this week. Will Hawkins hits us with, what do you like to put on a taco?
A little bit of lettuce, a little bit of shredded cheese, some avocado, and salsa. And that's pretty much it. That's the jam.
Yeah, I do. I'm assuming the base is the ground beef mix every time. So
yeah,
obviously beef. Yeah, lettuce, some shredded lettuce, shredded cheese, some either guac. If I have guac, it's guac. If not, it's just avocado. And then yeah, either chopped up tomato or a salsa, depending on how I'm feeling. Because sometimes I don't want the salsa, I just want tomato, vice versa. But yeah, about the same thing. And then, usually if I'm really going the full distance, a little sour cream to top it off. Let's see. Oh, Seth, with another related food question. We've answered this before, I believe, but I'll ask it anyway. Seth asks, do pineapples belong on a pizza?
I don't think they belong on a pizza, but I don't mind them on a pizza. I don't get angry. I will eat them. But do I think they belong there? Hell no, I don't.
I don't think they belong on it, but again, it's the I call it the free pizza paradox. Is that even if you don't like the pizza and you wouldn't order it yourself, if it comes free, like if you're at somebody's house and there's pizza laying out,
yeah,
you're gonna eat the fucking pizza.
Oh, and the good thing about pineapples on a pizza, it's very easy to remove. So like you can just
it's always on top.
Yeah, you can just plop those bad boys off and you're pineapple free.
Yeah. Alexila asks, what do you wish they taught you in school that they didn't, presumably, is I guess what that question's about. Anything and everything personal finance. They literally avoid that shit like the plague. We're talking your taxes, we're talking buying your first house, maybe leasing your first car, what to expect, that kind of shit. What your credit rating, what makes it go up, what makes it go down, how to manage your money, Not on some crazy high level, but like how to like,
basics.
Don't fucking max out all of your credit cards and pay credit cards with other credit cards. It's not just magic money that fucking like appears out of nowhere. The basics would be good.
I'm with you on that.
Would be good. This is a joke, but Dr. Samurai said, I just submitted a StarCraft video to D2D Gamer. When will it be casted? It'll be casted right after we stop selling Cialis.
There you go.
That's when it will happen.
Fuck. Drops.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Mark Furry asks, and I guess this is on the backs of watching the movie, probably, what was it called, with Jamie Foxx, Power, or whatever the fuck it's called?
Yeah, Power.
Yeah, we watched that the other night, too. It was alright.
Yeah.
It was decent.
Project Power.
If you could add any animal trait to yourself with no harmful side effects, what would it be? I'm gonna go with limb regeneration, because even though it's unlikely to ever fucking happen, my god, would it come in handy.
Are we talking about, you said an animal thing?
With no harmful side effects.
I would say night vision.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because it's something that you'd use all the time.
True.
And, a limb regeneration, you're probably, statistically never going to have to use that ability. So I think it'd be a bit of a waste. But seeing in the dark would be...
Make a hell of a party trick, though.
It definitely would. That's for sure. It'd be basically like Piccolo.
Cut your arm off.
Go
on.
Oh, man. But I also... night vision. I'm going to have to switch it up.
Uh-oh. All right, what is it?
I'm going with the ability to breathe underwater.
Oh, that's a... Yeah. Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very good one. Yeah, for sure. Jorbach asks, or says, and /asks, I was getting a coffee this morning and I noticed that drip coffee with an espresso shot is becoming a pretty popular drink. How do you deal with the caffeine monkey on your back?
What do you mean by the monkey on your back? As in,
I mean, how do you get your caffeine? Yeah, how do you get your caffeine fix?
Right here. Rockstar. That's it. I'm an energy drink guy. I mean, I drink a coffee in the morning most mornings, but I'm the type of guy that'll make a coffee and I'll sip on it and then it'll eventually get cold and I just won't drink the rest of it. So then I usually have an energy drink in the afternoon.
My solution is to never actually have the caffeine monkey on your back in the first place.
That's good life choice, Adam.
So
good life choice.
I don't drink coffee. I don't even drink tea, really, unless it's a herbal tea or something, like I'm having ginger tea or some shit in the winter months just for the warmth of it and because ginger is nice. I don't drink anything like an ice cap from Tim Hortons is the closest thing to caffeine that enters my body. Other than maybe like a can of Coke once in a blue moon or some shit. I don't have a daily caffeine fix. I drink water 99.9% of the time, and that gets mixed up with a glass of milk in the morning if I'm feeling fancy. That's pretty much the show.
Smart man.
Alexa also has another question here. It says, you guys have talked about your biggest negotiation wins a few months back, but what are your biggest negotiation tips and tricks?
Tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely building rapport is, I think, probably the most important component. Now, there are some instances where building rapport doesn't help you. So, like, for example...
Sometimes it can hurt you, actually.
Yeah, sometimes it can. It's rare, but, like, there's when I say building rapport, I don't mean, like, prying and prodding for, to sound relatable or asking too many questions.
No, you're almost trying to get friendly with them. Like you're trying to get them to like you before you make any kind of moves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it's not so much of even liking you, but also getting them to painting a story, like telling a story. Sometimes that is trying to get somebody to like you so that they go, oh, I really like this guy, I want to give him a deal, or I'm willing to work with him or her. But sometimes it's also, you know, a bit of manipulation where, you know, if you want to say, hey, I need a new car, for example, and you start telling them, you know, the type of things in a car that you would really want, and you already know what type of car you're there for, but you have them suggest it to you, and then you go along with them, even though you're leading them into a place that you already want to go, to make it feel as though they're the ones in control and they're the ones that are making the suggestion, and you're eating that up, and in return they're going to feel better about the deal. They're going to feel better about you.
Pro tip, you can also use this tactic when asking your wife where she wants to eat for dinner.
There you go. You can do that. And that's it. That's like, it is basically building rapport, but in a little bit of a different way, where you're steering the conversation.
That's not building rapport so much as it's like that's just actually manipulation. So you're getting them. It's almost power of suggestion. So you're making them think that they're the ones in control when you are the one that's been steering it the whole time. You're like puppet mastering them into making them think they suggested, like you said, the car, and then you're like, oh yeah, you know what? This is I hadn't considered this car before. Can you tell me a bit more about the car, please? And they're like, oh, I got him. Here we go. I get my good commission on this car. And then they give you like this big fucking spiel, and you're like, oh yes, that's fascinating. Tell me more.
What? I really have a hard time looking down to see how fast I go when I'm driving. Sir, you're not going to believe it, but this new year, it comes up with heads-up display. And you can get that by just adding an extra $150 to your package.
Yes.
Wow, really? Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. Steering a conversation into where you're leading them into a trap, essentially. I know it sounds manipulative, it is, but it's not a malicious manipulation. It's one that comes from the art of the deal. Also, when it comes
Donald Trump's book,
The Art of the Deal. Also, when it comes to negotiations, is try and make it so that the other side feels as though they've won. So, you know, it's really, really hard to take somebody to the cleaners unless they're desperate. But what you want to do, and it's like this in real estate as well, when you find a distressed seller and say either they got a divorce, death in the family, they're behind on their taxes, they just can't, they need to move quickly, whatever the case may be, and you see an opportunity to get a deal on somebody else's misfortune or their unfortunate situation. I know it sounds like you're preying upon that, and to a degree you are, but you want to solve a problem for them. And when you solve a problem for them, it makes it feel as though they're winning. They're getting something out of it. They don't feel like, so for example, if somebody's getting divorced, they need to sell a house, and you're potentially buying it for $60,000 under market value. They know that, right? But if you can make the close faster so that they can get out of each other's hair quicker, if you will cover the realtor fees, or you will cover, even though you're still getting a deal, but you give them something, you give them a small victory or a large victory while you're winning, there is a much higher chance that you will have a successful deal, and you'll really master the art of the deal, is figuring out a way to make it so that the other party wins or feels as though they are winning.
Yeah, you can look at it this way. Even though you're buying a product, you have to look at it like you're selling a product. So if you look at marketing for most stuff is similar to what Jeff was just saying, is if you're trying to sell something, you're creating a problem even if one doesn't exist, so that you can solve said problem with your product or your service. And so in making a deal with somebody, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it can be advantageous, depending on what you're buying or doing a deal over, to frame it as you, like Jeff was saying, as if you were solving a problem for them by doing them something, or by doing them the favor of buying it or doing it at the specific time or at the specific price or whatever, and then you're trying to get them to see it as if you are doing them some sort of fucking favor by doing it the way that you want to do it. But again, it feeds into, like, the whole time you're trying to navigate them towards the end point that you want, while making them feel like they're getting what they wanted to out of the deal. So probably the most powerful and one of the most powerful, but also one of the smartest things that you can do is know that you can always, and you should sometimes, walk the fuck away. Sometimes walking away is your only power move, because sometimes it calls a bluff, and sometimes it just gets you out of a bad deal. Some people, one of their biggest problems is they'll get into it, they will initiate the bartering. They'll be the one to initiate it. And if somebody initiates the bartering, they themselves have it in their head that they have to complete the deal now, or they have failed.
We call this in the business world, do not get emotionally attached to a deal.
Yeah.
So, I hear this all the time in real estate, right? You walk through a property, and whether you're buying as an investor or say you're a first-time home buyer, I think more people can relate to this. You go through a house and you're like, oh my God, I'm in love with this place, or you start visualizing, where you're going to put the sofa and all this other stuff, and you get to you make an offer on the house, right? And you're excited, and then the offer gets rejected, or they come back and they say, no, we're firm on this price. And you know that financially it's not a good deal, but you're emotionally invested into the house. And what Adam is saying is you have to be willing to walk away from the deal, because ultimately you're asking, what is the best way to negotiate, on to get a better deal, to win. And sometimes winning is walking, and that could be as little as walking away, and the next thing you know, a week later you get that phone call and someone goes, you know what, I will take that deal. Somebody else falling through. That could be a car, it could be a house, it could be anything. It could be a date where you're asked somebody on a date, and they hum and haw about it. You know what, fine. No, you never know. You could get a text at 4:00 in the morning one Saturday night, and they're telling you to come over and come smash. You just never know, right? There is this people want what they can't have type thing. And if you can walk away, not only that, even if they don't call back, if the deal wasn't right and you walked, that's a win, because ultimately, if you do a bad deal and you're not winning at all, you're losing. So, like, why would you take a deal that isn't good? Unless you're emotionally attached to the deal. And unless that emotional attachment is worth more than a financial, like the opportunity cost is worth more than financial gain, because not everything's about money. Some people will find the right house or car or whatever, spouse or whatever, and maybe the spouse doesn't believe in religion, but you really love this person, and you're willing to make a sacrifice. Sometimes certain things are worth not giving a fuck about or working around, and then sometimes it's just not worth it. Walk away. If in your core they don't hold the same values of you, and a lot of the other things are the same, sometimes it's best to walk away before things get really bad, or it's just not gonna work, even though you want it to and you're emotionally involved and attached. Sometimes you need to walk the fuck away, and in the long term, that's a win. Sometimes you can't see that right up front, but I've done this many times for houses where I put in offers and they said no, and I'm like, fuck, and I'm like, damn it, I should have just paid the extra 20 grand, I'd have this property. And then I realized, like, after a little while, you know what? I'm so fucking happy I didn't buy that at that price, because now this thing came up or this opportunity happened. So you have to know when to walk.
The power of walking. Last question, Jeff. G Bros asks, what was your greatest aha moment or epiphany in life? I've got two. They're quick ones. One, my parents are actually just people that stumbled through life all the same as everyone else on Earth. You hit a certain age and you realize your parents are fallible. It's a massive. Two things to me. One, it made me feel better about my own mistakes, and that me not knowing where the fuck my life is going at any given time, even though I was like 18, 20, whatever the fuck. They were in the same place. They're still kind of in the same place. Everyone's going through life at the same way, kind of by the fucking seat of their pants, and you only can do so much. Shit happens. And you make mistakes along the way. And then two was the unfortunate one that never came to pass, but Jeff and I realizing that Mixer had originally picked up Ninja for the Halo play, and now we never get it.
Good one. Yeah, I you picked a really good one with the parents, because yeah, you just
up until a certain age, you think that your parents are infallible. They mean they can't make a mistake and they're right about everything all the time. And then you get to an age where you've had enough life experience or whatever, or you see it, you recognize it, you watch them make a mistake and you recognize it, and then it dawns on you that they're human, they're capable of it.
Yeah.
And it changes the dynamic quite a bit there.
Yeah. I mean, I've noticed that years ago, but I really, it's on another level now when you have a son or a child. And I find myself often, it's almost like a weird out-of-body experience where I remember looking at my childhood photos and seeing my mom, my dad, and my mom being way younger than me. Like, my mom was 18 years old, 17 years old when she had me. My dad in his 21 or something. And then seeing photos throughout the years of me even just being like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Even more specifically, my parents' wedding. I'm like 6 or 7. And you see the youth in your parents, and I never looked at them like that. There comes a time where you look at your parents as they're older now. And it usually happens as you start to look at yourself as older now. And I'm not talking when you're 20, 25. So for me, it happened. Actually, it probably happened around between 25. My life has just been a little bit different than my parents' is. So, everybody goes through a different thing. But I hit a new level of that when my son was born, because I'm looking at baby photos and I'm seeing my parents and me as a child. And then I'm looking physically at my son and I'm going, oh my God, like, I'm doing what my parents did. And it kind of ties into what Adam was saying, where you look at least for me, I looked at my mom and my dad as they could do no wrong. And even when there was wrong, they had all the answers. They could solve all of my problems. And that's a testament on a good parent, where you have just you surrender fully to them, and they're going, no matter what happens, they're going to find a way to make it work. And so when you live in that environment, you just look at your parents as, I don't want to say superheroes, but like almost untouchable beings. And although I've seen
all the answers for everything,
everything, right? Like, I could ask a question to my dad, and my dad wouldn't even really know the answer, but he'd answer it in a way that it looked like he knew the answer. And I kind of do that, not just with my son. I do that with my wife a lot too, because she asks me things, and sometimes I'm like, sometimes I say I don't know, but sometimes I just kind of, almost act like I know. And I'm sure when it comes to my son and he looks up to me and he's asking me certain things, to him is probably going to look like he could ask me anything in the world and I'm going to have the answer for him. And I will, whether it's the right or wrong answer. In his eyes, it'll probably be the right answer. So, that is one of those big aha moments for me, is when my son was born and seeing my parents with him. And it's almost like I'm going through this like out of body experience where I'm like seeing my childhood and then my son's childhood, and my parents are older and I'm older, and it's a fucking weird thing. And I'm sure a lot of people know what I'm talking about, but it's different. So that's one of them. My other aha moment is oh man, not and this wasn't really an aha moment, but it's something that I kind of always knew, is you don't need school. You
after a certain point.
After a certain
you
point.
You mean post-secondary, specifically.
Yes. I'm not telling anybody here, don't get your, high school diploma or anything. Go to fucking school, because it's going to teach you, like at the very least, it's going to teach you how to socialize and have some sort of discipline. And you need it anyway for a lot of things, just from a job standpoint, where if you don't even have your high school diploma, some people will just look at you differently. A lot of people will, even though you might be as smart as or smarter than a lot of people, right? Especially with the internet, you can learn virtually anything on your own, but you need those certificates, or you need that whatever. But my, not needing a post-secondary education, and still be successful, is what was sort of an aha moment to me, because when I dropped out of university and I was, being a server and stuff, I didn't know any of this shit was going to happen to me. I mean, I kind of knew I wanted to run my own business and stuff, but I didn't fucking clue what that was. It was the closest thing I had to look up to for that was like my dad's, construction business. And even that was like, I wouldn't even consider that in my eyes the biggest of successes. He made a living of it and he supported his family, and that is a success. I mean, I'm a success because of his hard work, but in my mind, in terms of like what success really was, and owning and having certain landmarks, because everybody's versions of success is different. I knew I wanted it, but I didn't. I started second guessing myself. Like, maybe I do have to go to school. Maybe I have to do this the conventional way. And it wasn't until things started happening where they happened. And it wasn't even like my aha moment for like making it wasn't even me waking up one morning and having it. It was having a conversation. I remember having a conversation with somebody in Dominican Republic. Kale and I were on a vacation. This was like 6 years ago or so. We were on a vacation and I was swimming in a pool, the swim up bar. Kayla was talking to some, you meet mingle people and you have conversations, and I was hanging out with the dudes. We're all sitting there having a good time. And, we just get into the topic of work, because that's like what adults talk about when you meet people. What do you do for a living? Oh, that's great. And we started talking about that, and I was having a few drinks. So I was having quite a few drinks, and we started talking about what we do for a living. And they asked me, and I told them, I play video games, and it wasn't fairly new for me then. I was probably still like four years in, really starting to become successful. Like, this was back in 2014. So like in 2014 was like the biggest year of my career, like during the League of Legends stuff. So, the topic of like money came up, and like, how do you make money and how much you make? And I told them, this is what I make. And their reaction was it dawned on me then, because you get so caught up in what you're doing that you don't even realize what you're doing until it's like done, or like, their reaction and their intrigue, basically it was sort of my aha moment where I was like, whoa, I made it, like that was it. And it was from their reaction of me. I never had a time to reflect like fully. So yeah, that was probably my second biggest one is you don't need school. And some of those other people that was in that group, also entrepreneurs, and didn't go to post-secondary school and became successful business owners and different things. So yeah, those are probably my two big ones.
Yeah, and those are. I can't think of too many ones that would be bigger than that. I mean, it's and they both hit. The funny thing about that is they both tend to hit around the same time or close to it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild thing. It's a wild thing when something like that, especially when it's a life thing, dawns on you. It's one thing if it's just like a day-to-day, like, stupid, silly thing, but like when like the big life ones hit you, it's always a trip.
And it's crazy because like I've had people message me all the time or even talk and stream, and they're like, dude, I'm 30 years old and I'm 35 and I don't know what I'm doing with myself and all this other stuff. And then I've had tons of people that also have said, and I can tell you this because I know many people that have become successful past 30. And these sort of things that we talk about, where it's career or children or purpose, I'm telling you, for me, I went from 0 to 100 pretty fucking fast. It felt like a long time and it felt like it was taking a while and I didn't know, but I'm telling you, like, life changes so fucking fast, but so slowly. It's really, you could go from feeling like dog shit about your situation to like giving yourself some serious pats on the back. So like, it's not too late. Like, you're gonna, if you haven't felt those things yet, it's coming. It will come.
And on that note, you know what has come? The end of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Thank you so much for coming by and watching this. If you caught it live, or if you're watching this or listening to this on the RSS feeds, thank you so much for continuing to do so and spreading the word, letting other people know about the podcast if you think they'll enjoy it. You can watch this on YouTube Friday, 11 Eastern is when I make these things live now for the video, but if you just want to watch or listen to the RSS feeds, that goes up in the evening. I'm trying so hard not to sneeze right now. So yeah, go over to YouTube, like, comment if you can in the first hour, hit the bell icon on YouTube to be notified as soon as these videos go up. But I'm telling you the time so you know ahead of time, because one of the biggest ways you can help us, if you are not able to, or even if you are helping us financially with this podcast, is to do just that. Liking and commenting, interacting with the videos in that first hour is the biggest push. I know it doesn't seem like it would be, but it is. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. You're as awesome as always. We will see you guys next week for more Technical Alpha, and until then, stay safe out there. Wear a fucking mask for God's sake. And we'll see you soon. Peace!
Peace!